We've known about this for years. It was exposed by Judicial Watch, the details of it. And yet this Congress, Republican-controlled, just gave the FBI virtually every dollar they asked for. An immaterial cut, I think, is over $500 billion. So by way of example of our independent heavy lifting on behalf of the rule of law to expose the lawfare abuse targeting President Trump and countless other innocent Americans, we filed yet another Freedom of Information Act lawsuit for the category of secret records that that Kash Patel, the FBI assistant director, or then assistant director, he's now back on the podcast circuit, Dan Bongino has alerted us to, that they had burn bags in the FBI of records they were hiding. So we said, give us the records from those burn bags. And needless to say, unfortunately to say, we got I call it the hand to the face. Nope, you can't have it. So we sued. We filed a Freedom of Information Act against the Department of Justice concerning the discovery and contents of burn bags found in secured, sensitive, compartmented information facility at the FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. So we just filed the lawsuit, I don't know, just a week or so ago. We'd asked for the records back in November. For records, here, let me ask you, I'll tell you what we asked for. I'll show it to you online here first. The FBI request asks for contents of the burn bags, all unclassified documents or releasable portions thereof, including any related to the FBI's Mar-a-Lago search, the January 6th issue, the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, or about the John Durham report. The John Durham report, which was the last guy who supposedly was going to get to the bottom of all of it, who failed miserably, still hiding material about what he found. This is interesting. The original CIA referral to former FBI Director James Comey containing intelligence related to the 2016 U.S. presidential election campaign, found in a storage closet adjacent to the director's office and transported to room 9582 SCIF, which I believe is the SCIF at issue about where the burn bags were found. I think that CIA report was, you're going to have to double check me on this, that the Russians had intel that Hillary was going to make up the Russiagate scheme to distract from her email gates corruption that Judicial Watch uncovered. And U.S. intelligence officials, according to Ratcliffe, forwarded an investigative referral to James Comey and Peter Strzok regarding a U.S. presidential candidate, namely Hillary Clinton's, approval of a plan concerning U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections as a means of distracting the public from her use of a private email server. So they knew Hillary was working to manufacture false charges against Donald Trump. What you should know is that she was working with this Christopher Steele character, hence the Steele dossier. Steele concurrently was being paid by the FBI to do the same thing. It was literally a joint operation between Hillary and the FBI to subvert our election. The FBI was leaking to Hillary material about their investigation of Trump. We've known about this for years. It was exposed by Judicial Watch, the details of it. And yet this Congress, Republican-controlled, just gave the FBI virtually every dollar they asked for. An immaterial cut, I think, is over $500 billion. Same for the Justice Department. And by the way, it wasn't like it happened 4 years ago they found abuse. They found FBI abuse targeting senators and congressmen literally weeks before they gave them the full budget. Is anyone serious in this city? Is anyone serious in this city about this government corruption? And we have lawsuit after lawsuit. I mean, we sued previously for records about this room. We asked again through this lawsuit. For more details about what they found. Let me see what they said to us when we asked for the records. This is always a classic. So they told us they got the request in November and went radio silent. Now, if I thought the lawsuit, sometimes you just have to sue to get their attention, and it's not the end of the world if you have to sue, because there's a lot of people asking questions. Fewer are suing, and maybe by suing it brings it and escalates it to the leadership's attention. You wouldn't hear me complaining about it as much. But what happens is we sue, and then they come back and say, "Oh, not only are we going to, we ignored your request initially, but we're not going to give you what you asked for because there are privileges and exemptions we want to use to justify the withholdings." So, as if what comes to what we can expect based on past experience is, they won't give us what we're asking for, and they will defend the criminality and hide the criminality that we're trying to expose here. Judicial Watch has long been a leader in exposing the lawfare against President Trump. We've had historic disclosures made through our litigation, and there are potentially historic disclosures if the FBI and Justice Department would just follow along and give us the records under FOIA. And what happens is, if the transparency, is it full accountability? No. It's better than no accountability. And the more transparency we have, the more information the public learns about what the government's been up to, the more educated the public is about the corruption, the more pressure there will be for fuller accountability through the legal process. And we're kind of seeing that in part through the Epstein releases, right? That material is causing a furor, sometimes ill-placed, often well-placed, over the corruption that's been exposed in those documents. It's just great work by Judicial Watch that we're just always pushing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.